Welcome to Psycast, your weekly analysis of gaming's biggest questions and, wildest hypothetical battles. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Castia, here to explore the strategic depths and, make sure our theoretical combatants face a truly equal playing field.
Absolutely. And a huge shout out always to Psyguy, our maestro behind the scenes, digging up all the incredible research that powers these discussions.
Yeah, Psyguy, making us look smart.
And if you happen to hear any minor sound quirks today, that's probably just Psyguy reminding us who's really running the show. We appreciate your patience with us.
Or maybe with him. But hey, before we jump into the main event, can we talk about the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC for Elden Ring for a sec? The Seals figures just came out, and it's wow.
Oh, yeah. So
it's just a masterclass in how From Software uses, negative space in world design, know?
You're absolutely right. It's not just a sales thing. It's the quiet brilliance of what they don't spell out for you, the secrets they bury. That stuff actively encourages community theory crafting, organic discovery. It's such a stark contrast to games that just, spoon feed you everything.
Exactly. It fosters this level of engagement that, honestly, a lot of live service games struggle to replicate, even with these huge budgets.
Right.
It just proves that a polished, singular experience can still absolutely dominate, even now in this era of constant updates and battle passes and all that.
That whole idea, the intricate, challenging world, whether it's through design or just sheer difficulty, it actually sets the stage pretty well for our main discussion today.
It does, actually.
We're pitting two legendary figures against each other in a hypothetical battle that really pushes the limits of character and combat philosophy.
I know. This is a really interesting one, especially with the parameters we've set up.
Okay, so we're talking about a showdown between two legendary, heavily armed swordsman, Auron, the stoic guardian from Final Fantasy X, and Guts, the relentless black swordsman from Berserk. Now, hang on, before you start imagining just raw power levels clashing.
Yeah, let's get the rules straight first.
We've set some crucial ground rules. This is not just a contest of brute force.
Precisely. For this whole hypothetical fight, we're assuming their baseline physical strength, speed, durability, and even raw magical or supernatural output are equal.
Think of it like a fighting game, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone starts with the same health bar, same basic attack damage. It just strips away that simple numerical advantage.
Exactly. It levels the field.
And yes, even their magic systems and energy expenditures, Auron's MP for his abilities, Guts strained from the Berserker armor, we're saying those are equalized in cost and impact too.
Okay.
So this isn't about who has a bigger mana pool or a deeper well of rage to draw from.
Right.
The whole point here is to shift the focus away from just raw power onto the nuanced interplay of their unique combat philosophies, their signature techniques, psychological fortitude, and the inherent advantages or disadvantages of their specific magic systems when they're scaled to have comparable impact.
So it really becomes a contest of strategy and character, not just who can swing their sword harder or hit harder.
Definitely.
Which one's way more compelling, I think.
It adds this incredible strategic depth. It's like, optimizing a character build in a classic RPG. It's not just about the raw numbers. It's about how those numbers interact with your playstyle and, crucially, the opponents.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's break them down.
All right, let's dissect these combatants. First up, the legendary guardian himself, Auron. That's A-U-R-On.
Auron. A central figure in Spyro, yeah. Known for his formidable combat prowess, but also that, enigmatic vibe. There's a quiet strength there that always stood out.
He's the former swordsman and guardian of Lord Braska. He was instrumental in defeating Sin 10 years before the main Final Fantasy X story kicks off.
Right, the backstory.
He's 35 years old, stands about 6 feet tall, and has this reputation for piercing insight, seeing truths where others can't. But here's where it gets really interesting for this specific equalized fight. Is an unsent.
Ah, yes, the unsent. A deceased person who's still hanging around in the living world because of, sheer willpower and unfinished business. It's a cool lore detail, but it has huge implications for his combat style, especially endurance.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
His unwavering resolve, his unfulfilled goals, they basically tether him to the living world, which means his unsent status gives him this unique kind of combat endurance.
So he doesn't experience physical harm or fatigue like a normal living being would?
Pretty much. It lets him push his body way beyond its breaking point without those debilitating effects. He appeared most prominently in Final Fantasy X, of course, but also popped up in Kingdom Hearts. He's basically a spectral tank.
A spectral tank. I like that.
Oh.
Okay, so on the other side of the arena, we have Guts, the Black Swordsman, Guts.
Right, the main protagonist of the Berserk series.
Defined.
Defined by just immense physical strength and this absolutely relentless struggle.
He's known as the Black Swordsman and, widely seen as one of the strongest guys in his fantasy world. His life is just this continuous ordeal, haunted by ghosts, demons.
And driven by that overriding motivation.
Yep.
Deep-seated vengeance against Griffith.
He's younger, 24 years old, but he's huge. Stands a towering 6 feet 8 inches, weighs 115 kilograms. What's that? About 18 stone, 2 pounds for our UK listeners.
Yeah, big dude.
And he's defined by this indomitable human will, this unbendable will of steel. He's constantly pushed his mind and body way past normal limits, enduring just immense physical and mental suffering.
He has this complex sort of dual nature, right? It allows him to barely feel pain, push beyond what humans should be able to handle.
But it comes with severe repercussions, often self-inflicted.
You see Guts everywhere, too.
Yeah.
The manga obviously sold over 50 million copies, multiple anime adaptations over the years, and even video games like Sword of the Berserk. Guts rage.
He's kind of the embodiment of that raw, visceral power fantasy that, games like Helldivers 2 sometimes tap into. That feeling of just overwhelming force.
Absolutely. His profound resilience and just the sheer visual impact of his struggles really define his characters. That whole narrative of enduring impossible odds, even if it leads to self-destruction.
And that's what makes him so compelling, I think, especially in a modern gaming landscape where pushing limits, sometimes recklessly, is often a core mechanic.
Okay, so while both Auron and Guts fundamentally embody that warrior archetype, frontline fighters, heavy weapons, sheer determination.
Yeah, they're both melee powerhouses.
Their actual combat philosophies are where they really, really diverge. It's fascinating.
Let's start with Auron, the disciplined, stoic warrior. People call him a warrior monk, a walking tank.
His style is very methodical, disciplined. It reflects his background, his wisdom. He's not prone to impulsive actions at all.
No raging out for Auron.
Right. He focuses on strategic positioning, outlasting the opponent, wearing them down. His piercing insight gives him full cognitive awareness, even under extreme pressure. It allows for long-term planning, exploiting subtle weaknesses. It's a truly measured approach.
Like meticulously optimizing a character build in something like Baldur's Gate, where every single move counts towards the long game.
It's exactly like that. He's playing chess. He wants to win the war, not just the initial skirmish.
Okay, and then there's Guts, the Black Swordsman, described as one of the strongest men in the world. His style is different.
Yeah. Primal, relentless aggression, a complete disregard for his own well-being. It's all savage intensity and relentless struggle. Pure offense.
His whole mentality is that indomitable human will, just never give up. But that ferocity is deeply tangled up with the beast of darkness.
It is.
Okay.
He pushes through profound trauma and pain. His entire existence is basically a compelling argument for just keep hitting it until it breaks. Which, I have to admit, sometimes works surprisingly well in games like Helldivers 2.
True. It's that primal scream of a warrior who just refuses to quit, even as his own power is literally crushing his bones.
Okay, before we fully immerse ourselves in this epic clash of styles, just a quick word if you're enjoying this kind of exploration, these gaming debates and hypothetical battles.
Yeah, remember you can subscribe to Psycast. We drop new episodes weekly with more stuff like this. Find us on YouTube.
Okay, now let's get into the real nitty-gritty. Their signature abilities, and how they actually stack up in our equalized clash. Auron's arsenal is all about Bushido and those strategic breaks.
Right, his combat style is this blend of refined swordsmanship and strategic debuffing. It feels very much like a samurai job class from a Final Fantasy game.
His Bushido overdrives are incredible tools. Those powerful charged abilities from FFX you earn through specific actions in combat. Dragon Fang hits all enemies and adds delay, which totally disrupts an opponent's attack rhythm, creates openings. Shooting Star hits one enemy, adds eject, forces a tactical reset, disrupts close quarters fighting.
On the big one.
Banishing Blade. Single target overdrive, but it applies all 4 breaks, power, armor, magic, and mental.
Yeah.
Just systematically dismantles an opponent's stats. And then there's Tornado, which is just a big, high-impact offensive strike.
But it's his regular sword arts, those individual breaks, that are maybe even more important here, right? Power break isn't just a number decrease. In an equalized fight, it fundamentally shifts the opponent's effective damage output, forces them to change tactics.
Absolutely. And Magic Break reduces magic power and resistance. Mental Break weakens resistance to supernatural or psychological attacks. And Armor Break just eliminates physical defenses entirely. Removes any armored status. Poof.
That armor break sounds devastating against someone relying on, well, armor.
Oh, yeah. Plus, he has control stuff like threaten to immobilize a target, guard so he can take damage for someone else, enhancing his tank roll, and entrust to charge up an ally's overdrive.
Yeah.
Those breaks are the ultimate debuffing toolkit, systematically taking apart an opponent's defenses, just like a well-built support character in an endgame raid scenario.
Okay. Now, for Guts' armory, the Dragon Slayer sword, the Berserker armor, and his prosthetic ingenuity, his combat effectiveness is so tied to his gear.
The Dragon Slayer. That colossal sword, it's just pure, immense destructive force. It's the definition of a weapon that can just cleave through anything. Visually iconic.
But the real game changer, the thing everyone talks about, is the Berserker armor. When he activates it, it synchronizes with him, boosts his speed, strength, fighting capabilities to superhuman levels.
And crucially, it shuts off pain and fear. Which sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Gives him this immense physical performance boost.
Yeah, but it comes at a terrible cost. The Berserker state erodes his sanity, his humanity, causes loss of control, and inflicts physical self-damage, literally crushing his own bones and muscles from the strain.
It's the ultimate double-edged sword. Makes him incredibly dangerous, but also incredibly vulnerable to a prolonged fight. That self-damage aspect is critical in an equalized scenario where endurance matters.
Totally. And we can't forget his prosthetic arm. It replaces his lost left forearm, and it's packed with surprises.
Yeah, the gadget arm.
It's got a cannon built in that fires actual cannonballs for a powerful ranged option. It has a repeater crossbow for sustained ranged pressure, and it even has a hidden magnet so he can grip the massive Dragon Slayer.
That arm alone shows some serious technical ingenuity, complementing the raw, brutal power. It's like the ultimate expression of, I will adapt and overcome, even if it literally kills me in the process.
Okay, the moment of truth. Who actually prevails in this equalized clash? Remember, raw power is matched. It's all about abilities, mentality, resilience.
Let's break it down. Maybe think in phases, see how these different philosophies play out.
All right, phase 1. Initial engagement. Guts obviously would unleash powerful, direct attacks. Aggressive charge, probably immediately tapping into the Berserker armor's power. He's going for the quick kill, pure, unbridled offense.
And Auron? True to form, he adopts a defensive analytical posture. He'd use guard to mitigate Guts' insane initial damage output, maybe use threaten to create some space or an opening.
And
critically, he'd immediately try to apply power break. Reduce Guts' offensive threat right from the get-go. This is Auron's strategic patience. Let Guts try to break himself against an unbreakable wall. It's like a classic chess match against a hyper-aggressive brawler. Tempo control is everything.
Okay, makes sense. Moving into phase 2 then, Guts escalates. He activates the Berserker armor to its fullest, cranking up his speed and strength, just enduring the immense pain. He's fully committed now, pushing his body way past its limits.
But Auron counters systematically. He'd use armor break to absolutely devastate Guts' physical defenses. Remember, Guts relies on toughness and that armor.
Ouch.
And then he'd likely unleash his signature move, Banishing Blade, hitting Guts with all 4 breaks, simultaneously power, armor, magic, and mental.
Wow, that would turn the tide dramatically, wouldn't it? Even if Guts' raw power is equalized, suddenly his defenses are gone, his attack is nerfed, he's vulnerable mentally.
Exactly. It fundamentally cripples Guts' effective combat capabilities. It's like trying to rush down a tank character in, say, Valorant, who perfectly counters your every push and just leaves you completely exposed.
So, the climax. Phase 3. This is where Guts' mental strain from the Berserker armor becomes absolutely critical, right? He's pushing forward, but at a fatal cost. He's descending into that uncontrolled rage, relying solely on sheer indomitable will. He's sacrificing everything just to keep fighting.
Meanwhile, Auron's unsensed status provides that unique resilience. He feels no fatigue, no accumulated injury from the fight itself. He combines his piercing insight, observing Guts' deteriorating state, with continuous strategic debuffing. He's exploiting Guts' increasing recklessness and that self-destructive nature of the armor.
Auron isn't just enduring. He's observing, adapting, and methodically dismantling his opponent.
While Guts is losing himself to his own power, which, in an equalized fight focusing on strategy and sustainability, is a fatal flaw. This is it. The methodical, enduring warrior versus the raw, desperate, burning-out aggressor.
So the winner is...
The verdict seems pretty clear. Auron prevails.
Yeah, I think I agree. The reasoning is basically rooted in Auron's strategic debuffing and his crowd control abilities, right? They just systematically dismantle Guts' effective combat capabilities piece by piece.
And his unsent resilience means he can maintain peak performance indefinitely in this scenario without succumbing to fatigue or injury accumulation. He's the immovable object that also cleverly weakens the force hitting it.
Guts' ferocity, even amplified by the Berserker armor, leads to that overwhelming offensive pressure, sure, but it also causes that self-destructive physical and mental erosion. He's just inherently unsustainable in a prolonged, equalized fight like this.
Exactly. Auron's disciplined mind, his strategic application of abilities, and that unique inherent resilience simply triumph over raw, unbridled, ultimately self-consuming aggression.
Makes sense. Okay, before we wrap this up, let's hit some fun facts, some trivia about these two legends. You gotta love the details. Always. Okay, first, Auron. That signature bottle he carries on his hip, it's modeled after a traditional sake jug. It references his former warrior monk status and Bushido code. He actually performs a Bushinin sake ritual before battle in some lore, which is just a fantastic detail.
Huh. Didn't know the ritual part.
Cool. And those iconic sunglasses, apparently he just picked them up in the ruins of Xanarkand.
Yeah.
Casual. Plus, his ultimate celestial weapon, the Masamune, actually boosts his HP stat significantly, further encouraging that tank-like playstyle we talked about.
Nice. Okay, for Guts, his Black Swordsman title really does reflect his dark past and just formidable presence. As we mentioned, the Berserk manga, over 50 million copies sold worldwide, just massive impact.
Incredible.
His prosthetic arm was made by the dwarf blacksmith Rickard. And yeah, it does have that hidden magnet for grabbing the Dragon Slayer quickly, which is just brilliant combat engineering, honestly.
Practical. And speaking of the Berserker armor, it actually had previous users before Guts. The super mysterious Skull Knight, another powerful figure in the Berserk story, was one of them. The lore in both these series is just so deep, isn't it?
It really is. Incredible details that just add so much richness to these characters. It's why they stick with you, why they resonate so deeply with you, the listener.
So, thinking about this whole equalized battle, this clash of philosophies, what does it really tell us about strength in these kinds of scenarios?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world where raw power can be equalized, does true strength lie more in how much punishment you can physically take? Or is it more about how strategically you avoid taking that punishment in the first place?
Or maybe, perhaps, it's about knowing when to lean into your vulnerabilities. Like, Guts almost weaponizes his pain, versus when to leverage your inherent, almost supernatural resilience like Auron does with his unsent nature, knowing which tool to use when.
Good point. Lots to think about there.
Yeah.
All right, that's our time for this week. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. Stay safe. Stay sane.